Hey fans, welcome to another edition of Boxing for Real. I'm your host, Don Omega, Iron Truth. Let's go. Okay, the big fights this weekend, the big Saturday fights this weekend. First, let's talk Roy Jones Jr. versus Prince Batty Ajamu, or however you say that. If I said that wrong,
doesn't matter. Jones,
too bad.
Jones hopefully gets a spectacular, typical Roy Jones performance. He needs to rewind the clock about 5 years at least, or even 4. That would be great. Even 3 to 2003 against John Ruiz. That would be great. Although this isn't a heavyweight, of course. Hopefully he walks through this guy, puts on his, shows his great skills once again to get some recognition again. A lot of people are doubting him. A lot of people are even giving Ajamu a chance just because that's how much they think Jones is faded. I don't think he's faded that much. I thought he did well against Tarver. He had some very good moments. I think the layoff, being off for nearly a year, came back to hurt him without taking a tune-up. Now he's getting a tune-up. I'd like to see him get maybe one more tune-up and then take on a Glenn Johnson or Antonio Tarver, and I think he'd be ready. So hopefully he gets a good win this Saturday.
What's your pick on this one?
I'm going to go with Jones TKO 7. That's going to be my pick for this.
Okay, I have to agree with Iron Truth. I think Jones, he looked good against Tarver. He didn't look spectacular against Tarver, but obviously no matter how many times he fights Tarver, he's never going to have a really great performance against Tarver, probably. It's just the styles and style clash. And Jones, I think he'll come out and this guy will be called a bum after Jones embarrasses him. Everyone will write him off as just another bum that Jones beat. And I don't hold that against them for that if they were saying that before the fight. It's the fact that a lot of people are picking this guy to upset Jones before the fight that at least admit that you were wrong.
And say that Jones isn't as faded as you thought he was after this.
I understand some criticism. People have criticized Jones as playing basketball and training for this, and he really should be training much harder, I think, for the actual fight itself. Basketball is great athleticism, sure, but he should have focused more, I think personally should have focused more on the fight, but I don't think it'll hurt him really. He's still been training, clearly, and he'll show that whenever he arrives in Boise, Idaho for this card. And it's a horrible undercard, not even going to go over that.
Nothing worth mentioning there. So.
Then also on the other channel, well, this will be pay-per-view if you can happen to get it.
$25. That's a low price for a Jones fight, but it should not be on pay-per-view.
Nope.
I blame HBO for this. They don't want anything to do with Jones. They've completely
Also,
written him
HBO
off.
Boxing After Dark. There's going to be a pretty good card on there. It's going to be Vivian Harris versus Stevie Johnston. Stevie Johnston is the one that ended up getting the replacement call, and
From Mike Arnudis. Yeah.
It looked like it was going to possibly maybe be Emmanuel Augustus. They got a lot of phone calls, and they said no. They said no, this is what they think of the fans apparently. They don't want to give the fans what they want to see, but anyhow, Stevie Johnston at least is a very acceptable opponent and a very acceptable replacement.
Yeah, a better fighter than Arnudis, who he was going to fight, I think. So.
And this is a former world champion. Whether or not he was just one of the trinket champions, he knocked out Chambry Mitchell somehow, believe it or not. And he's a good fighter. Well, it should be a good fight. It could. I mean, it's no guarantee that Harris will win this fight. He should win it. I'm picking him to win it, but there's no guarantees. If Carlos Mousa got a win over Harris, it's not impossible that Stevie Johnston could.
It depends what Harris does, how he trains. He did come in at 136 for the weigh-in for that Mousa fight. That seemed very odd when he's fighting at 140. It looked like he did overtrain. He wore himself out in the first round of that fight. He was dead tired within 2 minutes of the first round. He wanted to look spectacular. He just needs to place his aggression better. And he did have one fight off TV since then against Martez Logan, the journeyman. who fought Emmanuel Augustus back in May, I believe, or June. No, it was May 17th of this year. Anyway, Harris dominated him supposedly. I'm going to pick Harris with a late round knockout against Stevie Johnston. Hopefully he can get the Mouser rematch soon, and hopefully he's one of the best 3 junior welterweights out there behind Miguel Cotto and Paulie Malignaggi. That's how I would place him. So
I'm going to give Stevie Johnston a little more benefit of the doubt and say he makes it the distance, but he will lose his fight to Harris, I believe. And it'll be a clear victory for Harris. And that's going to be my pick, unanimous decision, 12 rounds. Harris, you got to win this. In boxing, there's not a lot of second chances. You're getting your second chance. So good luck with that. Also on the undercard, our little $1,000 bet that we've got, side bet, for Joshua Clottey versus Richard Gutierrez. That really makes me look a little more forward to the fight than I otherwise would have, or a lot more forward to it than I otherwise would have. Now I actually have some interest in it. And we'll have to see what happens there. I'm picking Clottey. He's picking Gutierrez.
Absolutely. Gutierrez only did see him one fight. He looked impressive against Tomas Davis, who has the one win against Kendall Holt, his one defeat. Not that Davis has one win. He does have more than that, meaning that's Kendall Holt's one loss. It was a first-round knockout. But anyway... I picked Gutierrez. I'm going to go with the decision. Clottey looks like he's probably pretty tough. His only loss is to Carlos Valdemir, actually, by a DQ. Don't know what happened in the fight. Didn't see it. So a lot of people are somewhat high on Clottey. I'm not. I mean, he's definitely better than his brother. But
I'm not high on Clottey either, but I do think he'll be better than Richard Gutierrez.
And we'll see who wins the bet. So hopefully it's different from a draw, like the Taylor Wright fight last time we made a bet.
I'll pick Clottey to knock him out in about 9 or 10.
So
I'm not really basing that on anything, honestly. I'm just picking something.
Yeah, me too, pretty much. And
what would your pick be?
Decision for Gutierrez.
Okay.
A unanimous decision. Yeah.
Okay, so those are the fights this weekend. Be sure to check all those out. Be sure to check out our show after those fights happen, see our comments on them. And be sure to email us, boxingforreal@gmail.com. Check us out, omegafights.com.